is up, you guys? Mikell here, and I'm here with
Yahir.
All right, so for a while, this podcast is in honor of all the times where we had conversations. We're like, we should start a podcast.
It's funny because it's so often like we just get into a conversation, we're just like crushing it, like one thing after another, and then you're just like, this should be a podcast.
I know. Why are we not making this into content? And it's crazy. So the podcast name, I'll do a little drum roll. Move with Mikell.
That's what it is?
I'm doing Move with Mikell. One, obviously, because I'm a real estate agent. But two, I think growth is so important. And even for me, I want to always be consistently like moving in life.
So like moving like as in leveling up or like moving up basically? Is that
but also real estate.
Yeah, I mean, I get that part.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's cool.
Consistently leveling up. And it's crazy because it's like, even though I'm so like young, a lot of people will say that. I feel like me compared to last year, I've changed so much because of the conversations I've been having. So I'm like, might as well just record them. You know, maybe you guys will get something. Maybe, you know, we'll take home something. And yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I will say at first, this is probably going to be weird for like the first couple of months.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I was just telling her off air. I'm like, it's going to be weird having the camera in front of you and having a normal conversation because it's like, it's not just a normal conversation anymore. So it's like, you know, we'll try our best. Hopefully hopefully her in like the next 10 episodes, you get more into it, you know?
I know, that's the hardest thing because when I talk, I use my ears. Like I listen more than I like look. So to remind myself, hey, there's a camera. So sorry for all you visual people. You're like, why is she just staring at the wall? Even though Yahir's right there and the camera's right there.
No, okay.
But I'm super excited. My plan is, of course, get new guests on the show, the podcast, whatever you want to call it, just to consistently have different conversations. Because like I said, I think it's important. Even Yahir, he's a big podcast guy too, you would say.
I guess so.
Yeah, but I think it's really important to always have different conversations with other people just because everyone has been through so many different crazy routes in life and has different perspectives on everything, you know, which is crazy. But it's not just going to be like 100% real estate. I know a lot of people don't want to listen to 100% real estate too. And I'm not just a real estate agent.
Right, yeah. And I think that's the thing, like as we're perceived and as we're in this business and kind of cementing our names and stuff, we could be easily understood as like, hey, that's Yahir and Mikell. They're the realtors in this area, you know? But I mean, you look at the person, it's like with anything, it's like with actors, with famous people, with everything, you kind of see them as a role that they played, but you don't remember, hey, that's actually a different person, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys are going to see that like, we don't just talk about real estate. We're actually cool people. So yeah, we're pretty interesting when it comes to talking and stuff.
You know what's crazy is because real estate takes up such a big portion in my life. Like I love it.
Definitely.
When me and you are the type of people when we get into something, we're gonna all go all in.
Yeah.
We're not gonna just dip a toe in, which is really like I feel like is a pro and a con because not everyone thinks like business owners. You know, they don't understand it. So what I mean by that, a lot of times, like even on my Instagram, my Facebook, I'm always posting real estate. And then I have to remind myself, yes, it's what I love. It's a big part of my life. And I don't just do it to broadcast myself. I do it because I love it. But then I have to remind myself, people want to know more about you. What are your hobbies? I don't really do a lot of hobbies, but what are your hobbies? You know, what are other things that are important to your life? Why do you do what you do, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that's important because, I mean, for me, not as much as I used to because I know this takes up a lot of my time as well, but, you know, I'm a very big sports fan. So every chance that I get, like, if I could talk sports all day, I would, you know? So that's another thing with me. It's like, I just doze off into different topics. You know, I'm not all real estate, even though it kind of seems like I do get consumed into it a bit, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. But yeah, I really plan on touching base like with our lives, other people's lives. I think it's really important to keep having conversations. I feel like after COVID happened, there's so many more introverted people. And that's something like a whole generation is going to have to deal with getting over, you know, now that everyone's becoming more social. But kind of to touch base, I don't want to make this full episode on like AI and everything.
Ooh, it's a good topic.
I know, but it's crazy because they finally had this little getaway period within the last couple of years after COVID. People are finally talking to each other, you know, regaining that social interaction, and bam, AI hit.
Crazy how that's. I mean, I guess that's been in the works for a while,
It
but like,
has, but like it
I
hit hard for
dude,
whatever
I
reason.
guess like I don't know too much into it, but as far as I know, like G Chat GBT like version like 3 or whatever
Hmm.
was like kind of ass, and
Hmm.
now or no, I think 3 was a good one. I think 2 was a bad one, and then 3 hit, and now I think we're like at 4.5, and these have been fucking like good,
Hmm.
like they're badass where you could like ask it anything, and it basically gives you any response that you want. Not
It's
all of
crazy.
them, but like. I mean, you could basically ask it anything.
My first experience, I would say, with like straight AI is as a kid. There was this thing called the genie, I think, where it's like they'll guess your favorite like it's like kind of like 20 questions, and it was like an online game when I was younger in high school. I think high school, middle school. It was like an AI genie, and it was like guess your movie star based on so many. Do
Oh,
you
I know what
remember
you're
that? And
talking
it was like
about.
a
Yeah,
genie.
I was just about to say I'm not that old to remember
Oh my gosh.
that.
But it was crazy. I remember going that on the computer, and everyone was like, "Dude, how is this guy guessing?" Like,
Yeah, I remember. Mainly on YouTube is
yeah,
where I saw it. A lot of people were like on there, like, "Oh my god, like it's so crazy" and stuff like that. And they would mess around with it and stuff. But I guess I never really considered that as AI, to be honest with
I
you.
didn't either.
But
But
now that
now
you think of it, it
it's
is kind.
literally
Yeah.
AI, like the brinks of AI
Mm-hmm.
in our generation. They just made it fun. But now it's crazy because, like, going back to the COVID thing, after COVID, we had that, like, the year of kids, coming back to the world, interacting with, people they haven't seen in like 2 years at that point because they were
Mm-hmm.
just re interacting. Schools were shut down, all of that work, but now there's AI and they don't even have to, like, use their brain for a conversation.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like how to talk to a girl. You could literally, how to text a girl in this like
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
isn't that crazy? Like, our brain is so gonna be so lazy. I feel like.
yeah. Kind of off topic here,
Hmm.
but shout out to Joe Rogan, by the way, because I know that I listen to him a lot. But he was taught. I know he's done a couple of episodes on this, but he's basically talked about before of how like AI should be or will become something that's so powerful that at some point, we might have to kind of not coexist, but kind of come together as to be one being,
Hmm.
basically. So I think that's kind of cool. And I think that's the way it kind of will be, because if you think about it, I think AI is kind of there to kind of like take over, I guess,
It's
and
kind of hard for
it's
it
going to take over
not.
a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, if it knows that much, but he made a really good point as to like if we don't want to like just to be the end of like human existence, like we
Hmm.
have to kind of coexist with it and come together and become some type of cyborg or something.
That's
It's
so
crazy, but like
weird.
if you think about it, it's like damn, like, and it's crazy to think for me that like we're probably not that far away from it.
Hmm.
You know,
I
it
know.
could last like it could take like a couple hundred years, yeah, but like if you think about it, like it could be in our generation or maybe even the next one.
Hmm.
I don't know. This whole AI stuff kind of scares me at times, but at the same time, I'm
So
just like,
you say like scares you. I feel like there's so many pros and cons to AI.
yeah, but I mean,
Like,
if you think about it, there's pros and cons to everything.
yeah,
So I mean, it's just the way that you kind of look at it, because you could say that like, I mean, it could eliminate the fact that you go to schools because you could. I mean, it could be a bad or a good thing because you could just stay home and look everything up, but then again, you don't have to rely on your memory to know everything.
that's
So
the
it's just
crazy thing.
every
It,
situation that you bring up is kind of like okay, there's two sides to it. So it just basically depends on the way you see
I
it.
think the stronger it gets, like the more developments in AI, even like YouTube. I feel like everyone's learning everything through YouTube too. Like once
Yeah,
that
yeah.
video, you weren't born yet, but I was there when YouTube was created, and I remember that.
I don't even remember that. I
I
just remember YouTube being there and I'm just watching it, you
No, I
know?
remember it. It was like an all black screen. There was like three, four YouTubers that were starting out and everything, which is crazy. But I feel like now people are going to be so more reliant on tech as far as education. Like I know Google has like Google certificates, so if you want a job and you need certs, you can go there. Which is really crazy. It opens a lot of job opportunities, but I think what we're all trying to semi replace is like the experience. You can't replace the experience, You can't replace
Yeah.
actually doing it. So I think a lot of the time our mind's going to start getting lazy as far as like problem solving.
It's crazy because there's kind of an old saying that says like um hard times create hard men create soft times create hard men. No, soft men create hard times. And it's that kind of weird space where we're trying to make everything so easy that there might come a point where everything becomes so difficult and so hard, you know?
And then everyone's just
And
gonna
it's
stop.
just gonna kind of like history repeating itself, maybe go into another renaissance. I don't know. I'm just really
Yeah.
weird. You guys could tell already that I'm just a really weird person, but
I
yeah,
think it's weird.
it's crazy. I don't know. I think it's weird. This whole like kind of space that we're in is kind of weird if you think about it. If you kind
It's
of zone
crazy.
out and like look at how we're going about stuff, it's like you never really know what's gonna happen next.
You don't, literally. And I just think, like, even AI, because I want to look into it, like, maybe that could better my business. It can make us, like,
Absolutely.
be able to create content faster in unbelievable ways. If I wanted to, I'd be like, ChatGPT, give me podcast ideas for 10 episodes. And if I can
Yeah.
be more specific on it, give me 10 episodes requiring the home buying process. Like, it can shorten, it'll write me a script. Like, it's insane how much, like, this can fasten technology. And, you know, I know a couple people have been mentioning this, but if you're not, as like an agent, if you're not getting on the AI train, you're going to get lost.
Oh, absolutely.
You're going to get lost because now everyone's going to be shooting content like no other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like the same thing, and you could relate it to the whole social media trend now, where like if you're an agent and you're not using social media, like what are you doing?
You're missing out, man.
What are you doing?
Even for me, I feel like social media has been a big backbone for me as far as like leads. I've been noticed a lot more, and I think it's 100% towards video. So if you're not on video, get on video. You hear
Yep.
more.
That's why I'm doing this.
There we go. I know. But if you're not on video, get on video because it's crazy. Like, I've had people come up to me and they're like, you know, I've seen your Instagram, I've seen you on Facebook, and it's like, I feel like I already know you. And that's what the effect that social media is doing nowadays, and it's working, you know? And it's crazy because once you see someone on Instagram, it's basically like, I don't want to say like a virtual reality, but it's a crazy world we're living in with tech right now.
Yeah. So I mean, you could go back and say that. I mean, you need to get on AI. You need to at least kind of play around with it and see what it could do.
Be
for you.
educated about it.
Yeah, at least kind of
Anything.
know, because I know I've seen a couple people as well in our group, in our general area, that are getting AI certified. You know, I don't completely know what that means exactly, so I would have to go
Yeah.
look into that a little bit more. But like, you know, it sounds good. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think just knowing what the heck it can happen, you know.
Yeah,
I know,
definitely.
just you don't want to be left out on that train where there's potential to grow your business, and then you were like, well, I didn't want to grow with the growing times, you know. And I don't think you have to love or hate AI. I think you just need to know about it.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel like people with kind of stuff, they put too much emotion into it, you know? It's like, well,
It's
in my
pride.
times, like, you know, I didn't need to use that. Like, I built my business like this. Well, shoot, like, yeah, that's cool, and I get it. Like, you can build your business that way, but, like, if you really want to build a brand and build yourself up and kind of keep growing, you know, you gotta like change it up a little bit. You know, you gotta experiment with other things. It might not work, but I mean, you know, at least you tried.
Exactly.
At least you can't say that you gave up or anything. So
100%. Like, especially in the real estate industry, they say find, like, try everything, see what you love and see what works for you, because
Exactly.
that's what you're going to put your time and energy in. Like, obviously, my goal, I love doing video, I love doing this content, but I just need to do more of it and have a strategy to do it. Because if you're just posting to post, it's not going to do anything for your business. And I'm trying to make it more of a systems too. Like,
Right.
once you find what you love to do, go all in and then talk to people that are doing better than you in that content, and just keep doing it, and but have like a system about it.
right. Yeah, because I mean, you gotta have systems at the end of the day.
And
Like,
that's hard. Like, I don't like saying it's hard, but it's like it can be difficult to find something that works, and you have to think in a very unique way.
yeah, and I mean that's where networking and kind
Yeah.
of coming talk not networking in a sense, but I mean in a way because you have to kind of like you said, you have to kind of go out there and talk to people that have been there, done that, you know?
It saves a lot of time. Everyone
Exactly.
tries to reinvent the wheel, but it saves a lot of time. And, you know, it's really hard because lately I've been finding a balance between using someone's exact words. Because some people will say, you have to say this word for word. And then some people say, well, get the gist of it to your clients. And I'm like, well, what if my gist of like wording isn't like to like
Yeah,
identical enough,
exactly.
you know? But one thing I've learned is that people will like you for you, and then as long as you deliver that, you know, people, there's so many agents in our local community. Like, what's going to differentiate you from like the 100 other
Yeah,
people, you know?
exactly.
So, talk to people that are doing better than you and make it work on your own. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think even if you like slightly adjust it to fit you, it's going to work.
Yeah, make it work for you. You
Yeah.
know, if because I think we get lost, and I include myself as well, because we get lost in this whole space. This new, for many of us, it's a whole new career path. Entering sales and stuff like that. And I don't want to make it too much about sales, but I'm just like, you could really have like a identity crisis,
Yeah.
because you're like, well, I have to take up this whole new role. I might have to change as a person, and yeah, change is inevitable. You have to change at the
100%.
times, but like you gotta be yourself at the end of the day.
100%.
You gotta work with people that are kind of like minded, and kind of that's where you're gonna really like to work. You're gonna get up in the morning, want to go to work, help these people out, and then get the job done. So
Exactly.
if you are naturally yourself and just put yourself out there and not really, just be you and not fake it, you're going to end up being with more people that you like being around, and it's going to be a more fun experience, a funner
Exactly.
experience, what I was going to say, but that's not a word.
Funner.
Funner, yeah, but yeah, I just think, change and grow especially, but I mean, at the same time, you got to be true to
Yeah.
your roots and, really dial down on who you are.
It's awkward being someone else, and
Yeah.
people read it. Like, it
Oh, definitely. It
smells
comes
like
off, yeah. You see it from a mile away, and
that's
it's
the
just,
worst feeling. And I'm just like, it makes me feel bad because I know in their life, you're giving people that much power over you in your life where you feel like you have to like post a certain way, act a certain way, whatever, when you should just be you. Obviously, I know people have lines of like, where do I draw the line of being me and being professional?
yeah, and that's the
And
thing
that's
too. That's
hard.
that's really hard, and yeah, it's. I mean, I fall into that same thing. It's like, well, me myself, like we're still kind of young, so you can have kind of like the irresponsible side to yourself a bit. So it's like, is this a place where I should be myself, or is this a place where I'm like step my foot
And
down?
that's the thing. I feel like
Yeah,
with clients I work with, there's always like a thought in the back of my mind. Do they think I wear my sneakers, just jeans? Like, do they think I'm doing that because they assume I'm an immature kid or whatever
yeah,
like that? When in reality, when I'm 30, I'm still gonna be wearing my sneakers, but because they don't know me, like they know me, but they don't know that
yeah,
aspect of me.
yeah,
So I am afraid sometimes that I'll be seen as just a kid because of what I wear.
yeah, yeah.
So I think finding a balance between being professional but making it me. Like right now, I'm wearing my pandas, a blazer, a turtleneck. Like that's me, but that's me trying, in my
Right,
in
right.
my sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the clothes thing is just something weird. I mean, I've always kind of come up as like, and I've always kind of been told this way too, where it's not like, it doesn't really matter what you wear. It's more about like
The service you give.
the service you
And
give,
it
right?
should be
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But then the subconscious mind always is going to be knocking at the consumer's door being like, why is this 22-year-old? Like, are they
yeah.
even trying?
And some people kind of give it to you straight, like, like, do
Yeah.
you have the experience necessary? And I mean, I think at that point, I mean, for me, it's kind of like a challenge. It's kind of like, oh, you're doubting me. Like, let me prove to you that I'm capable of doing what I'm saying I could do. That's how I see it. And I mean, I'm not saying that everyone should see it that way, but it's definitely something that you want to have where you could be like, okay, look, this is me, but I could still get you the job done.
100%. Like you verbally like telling them, and that's the thing. It's like it kind of sucks because I feel like we have to go the extra mile. Because once people talk to me, they feel a lot more better.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
and I think that holds a lot of people back, whether it be from like messaging me or contacting me, is because they're worried about it. And I
Hmm.
understand where they're coming from because when they think of the average like 22-year-old, 19-year-old, they don't
Partying,
partying,
high
messing
school,
around,
college, yep.
discovering who they are, and I'm just like, I totally get it. Like I understand if I was in your shoes, I'd be like, what the hell? But it's like I just want to talk to people about it and give them a better understanding that there's people like in this day and age that still want to make it and still want to try
Yeah.
and want to help our generation like grow,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and to continuously move. It's just
But it's funny because I see that whole other side of the story where it's like you're the consumer and you're looking at a young person like, trying to help you out, and you're like, well, would I really trust myself? Like
Yeah.
looking in the mirror, like would I still trust a 19, 20-year-old kid with the whole process of making my dream, the American dream, basically possible, you know?
Yeah, it's a big
Putting
thing.
so it's like sometimes I look at it, I'm like, well, I can't really blame you, but at the same time, like, I know in my heart that I can do it, you know?
And then once, like you said, once you start talking to them and you mention like, hey, I have worked with this. Hey,
Yeah.
we know so many vendors, so many
Oh,
people, like
absolutely.
resources
Yeah,
to help them. And I feel like once they talk to you and you carry yourself in a certain way where you're like,
absolutely.
are comforting, because that's a scary thing. That's a big asset people work their whole lives to get. And I don't think agents nowadays, they don't think they're like just trying to get paid. But at the end of the day, like, you have to think how many hours that they spend away from their kids to get this house. Does that, like, to me, like, I know how much emotion plays into their lives, and as far as home buying, it's more than just a piece of property. It's literally affects this whole person's life.
Right, yeah,
It's
it's
insane.
it's it's very important, and that's what I relate to too. I mean, it's a huge investment. This is what I tell everyone because I guess a lot of people are under the impression that we kind of have to move quick, and it depends. I mean, I don't want to get too much into that, but it depends on the market, of course, and how many offers there is or whatever the situation is. But I always tell my people, I'm like, hey, this is a huge investment. Like, I would, if I'm you guys in this position. I'm taking as much time as I can to kind of think everything out. Like, does this
Right.
really make sense for me? Can I afford it? How does this work out in the future? In the future, am I still going to have the stability that I have now to buy it?
But I think a lot of people, once they get into contract, have that panic mode where they feel like they're missing like conversation, like kind of the fear of missing out, right? They feel like they're missing things that they should have asked. But a lot of these conversations we are so open to have
Oh,
before the transaction. We want to make sure you are fully comfortable with your mortgage payment, because I don't want to hear and get a call 6 months later that we're going in, or not 6 months later that we're going into foreclosure because we couldn't afford it. That hurts more than putting you, making a check and putting you in a situation your whole family can't afford.
and I think a lot of people like have to kind of like be excited, of course, right? But I think also like calm down and kind of visualize the whole lot because
It's a
I
honeymoon
know,
effect.
yeah, exactly. And so I know a lot of people get so excited, like worked up, like, oh my God, like this is really happening. You give them keys and everything's good. They make their first payment, like, holy fuck, am I really making this payment? And so I'm sure you did this as well, but like with all my people, like every time I have like a conversation with them, I'm like, dude, if you guys have any questions, doesn't matter like if it's, if I'm awake and you guys have a question, let me know. I'm answering it and
It's not just like we sell you a home and then we dip. Like,
yeah.
I was just talking to my other client. She was, we were trying to find her a couple vendors to get a couple things done in her house, and she feels comfortable enough still to reach out to me. And that's the relationship I want to have. I know I literally said I wasn't going to make this a lot about real estate, but
We just see what I
it comes so naturally.
It does.
Because we're so
embedded
passionate
into
about,
it.
yeah.
It's funny. It's yeah. I mean, it kind of goes like that, and then we start drifting off into other conversations. So, I mean, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. It's just real estate's just who we are.
Literally. But buying a house, like I said, to end this off with the real estate portion off, buying a house is such a good investment, and if it makes sense for you, no matter what your cousin, your aunt says, like it's a dumb time to buy, if it makes sense for
Yes.
you, then it makes sense for you.
Please talk to professionals. Please talk to
And
professionals.
I get the stigma of like they're just trying to sell me something, they're gonna just, say whatever to make it happy. In reality, we don't want to put people in, or at least me and you here can speak for this. We don't want to hear a phone call back that you couldn't make
Yeah,
a
that's
payment.
that's the worst thing ever. I mean, if you're calling back to check up and be like, hey, everything going good, or the opposite, we check up on you guys. I mean, that's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear the, dang, like I don't
I
actually,
effed up by doing
yeah.
this.
Like you could kind of hear it to the regret in their voice sometimes, and it's just like, it's
It's
just the
not worth
worst.
it.
Yeah. So
It's
it's
not
like,
worth it.
please, if you are interested, talk to professionals wherever you guys are. Yeah, family's cool, and if they're professionals, that's great. But please talk to a real estate agent, a
Get
realtor.
multiple opinions
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
Like, it
That's the
does
thing
not
too,
hurt.
because like I was talking about earlier, where we have to have a good fit with our clients. The same goes. It's vice versa as well. Get people like interview people, get buyer consultations, seller consultations
That align with you.
Yeah, exactly. That align with your goals, what you're trying to achieve, but also your personality. So it's not like a dread calling you up or calling the agent up.
That's
You know,
weird.
yeah.
Like, it's uncomfortable. Like,
It is funny, but yeah, I mean, do your own research and please talk to professionals,
it
lenders
doesn't
as
hurt.
well, lenders as well. But yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Because then you'll realize, and then because a lot of people they want to get a second opinion. Sometimes if like we can't qualify them for a certain amount, which is I'm never against getting a second opinion because you never know. There's always things that happen, so get your second opinion. But if you go to 3 people and they're saying not right now, don't get discouraged. Set up a game plan. Talk to people that genuinely care about you, that are going to check up on you, and go from there. But anyways, I said to end it that part with real estate. Well, so we'll cut it off now for the real estate portion. You hear how's everything been going for you, life wise, business wise, I guess.
I mean, not business wise.
I know I was going to, but I know a lot of you is business.
It's been going good. I mean, hitting the gym's been like the highlight of my day so
Yeah.
far. So it's like, there's always like that part of my day where I'm just like, I'm just trying to get to the gym.
So I know for a while, because for a couple months, it's been like probably like months now because I remember you mentioned you wanted to start going to the gym and all of that sort. What do you feel like the progression has done for you in your mental health, like all of that
I
sort?
don't see it as that way, to be honest with you. I think this is kind of bad, but I don't really, I just go with the flow. I feel like I just kind of go to the gym, and I think what helps me out a lot is that getting out and kind of socializing with my friends. I think that's the part that I really like because it's like sometimes you're just stuck at home doing work, whatever, and you get that part of your day where you get to go out, not go out, but like do something fun with your friends.
You make it an experience?
Yeah, I guess so. I think I just go with really fun people and make it worth it. And it just like, because I know a lot of people dread the gym. I know they do. And so, I mean, I think that just makes the experience fun. So I think I look forward more to being with my friends and talking to them. And the gym's just there. It's a bad way to look at it now that I'm thinking of it, but it's just like, that's how I have fun.
Yeah, whatever gets you going there, I guess, you know?
How are you going with your gym? I know that you've been kind of on it.
Yeah, I've been kind of inconsistent. Well, I was just thinking about it last night because real estate, bring it back on there, real estate makes your schedule so funky.
Right.
And I'm just like, well, if I do like calls, video messages in the morning, but then like I have a showing pop up, then I have to realign that throughout the day. And guess where that's gonna fit in? Gym time. Because I go in the evening time because I feel like that's when the day's over. No one's at the gym. I literally can't talk to people because I'm gonna annoy the like crap out of them because it's nighttime. So that's like, to me, that makes me feel a little better, and I can strictly focus on gym. So if I were to go like in like the middle of the afternoon, I'm like, this is like real estate hours, you know.
And I know some people really like that time too, which is,
It's
I
funky.
mean, I don't want to put anyone, I don't know anyone specifically, but I don't want to put like, or what am I trying to say? I don't want to make fun of anyone. I guess that's but that's weird.
That's
I don't know.
That's just like prime like time right there. Like everyone's awake, like it's fine. Like the mornings are good too. I wish I went earlier in the mornings, but then I'm like during the mornings, like because I normally get up at like 6:30, 7 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
And then that time I like to clean the house and kind of get everything back in order and everything. And then straight to real estate because at 8 o'clock people are up and at 'em. Like with the time change, everyone's driving, literally
that's
there's no
true.
excuse not to do it. There's no excuse not to do it, so I need to do it more. But there's no valid time where I feel like it's not worth real estate. And I think that's the toxicness, I guess, of it because of kind of like being like a workaholic, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get into it in the morning. I know I've watched a lot of videos that say that the morning's the best time.
It feels amazing.
Because then you get into like a shower and then like at 8 o'clock, like you said, 7 or 8, you start your day and you're just
Have you
cool.
ever went to the gym in the morning?
I used to. So I went with my same buddy that I go with now. I went, what was it? Like I think it was around last year, beginning of the last year. We went in Training Zone. And in Training Zone, like we would go, I think we would
I love
wake up-
Training Zone. I go there. Shout out. You're welcome.
I like it,
Sponsor.
but it's too packed. It's too packed.
It is
Way
really
too
busy.
packed.
Everyone loves Training Zone, and that's gonna be a downside.
So I'm kind of an early bird, and my buddy's kind of lazy in the morning. So
That's so
I would
funny.
wake up early, and he wouldn't like to go in the early morning. So we decided to go in the evenings,
Mm,
and I am telling you, it would take like hours to get on like one machine or something like that.
mm.
And so we kind of stopped for a while, and then we just started up again like 2 months ago, I think now,
Hmm.
1 month ago, and we go to InShape. Shout out InShape at Yuba City.
Training
Um,
Zone Marysville, hashtag a
Even though I
rivalry.
live in Oliver,
I
bro.
know, literally.
Dude, my parents all the time, they're like, I don't know how you drive like every day to Yuba City just to go to the gym. And even some people that I talk to there, there's some people that we've kind of like chopped it up and stuff. And they're
Hmm.
like, where do you guys live? I'm like, oh, all of us are from Oliver. And they're like, all the way from out there?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you think about it, it's only like a 15-minute drive. But I mean,
Remember that when you leave today.
I'm not going to the gym today.
No, I'm saying when you leave to go pick your sister up.
Remember what?
Remember that it's only a 15-minute drive.
Oh. No,
Let's
that
go.
doesn't deserve a dab. But yeah, it's like only a 15-minute, but the gym's worth it. The gym's worth it though. But yeah, a lot of people there, they're like, damn, I want to make a drive that much just for the gym. But I'm like, dude, I'm paying half of what I would pay at Training Zone. I'm not trying to bash Training Zone, by the way.
I love
It's just
Training
that
Zone. I love the community there,
prices
the
are getting
worker,
crazy.
the employees there. I think I pay every 2 weeks. I paid like $12.
See, that's not what I've heard. I've
Well,
heard.
there's some where because I did all the training and everything where you got it cheaper.
Oh.
So and they say a lot of people do it. Like I'm like, am I special for doing this? And he's like, no, everyone does it.
I mean, if you're getting that much off,
It's a good deal, and I literally love Training Zone because I think me being real estate, I think it's a good time. I know people don't like talking at the gym, but it's a good time to meet people.
yeah,
And it's like even if you're not talking, they like see you, I guess.
yeah, and they're like, oh, I see him or her at the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
I-
Subconscious thinking.
I kind of know them. I don't really.
Yeah,
It
I know of
depends.
them.
Yeah, but that's another thing too that like I know so many people like a training zone that I'm just like I kind of want to see new people.
Yeah, I get
You
that.
know, because dude, like I see so many people on like my social media, like from friends lists and stuff, and when they go to the gym, I swear all of them post training zone, and I'm just like, dude, like, and I talk to dude, it's funny because I talk to my friends about this all the time that there's a lot of people from training zone that we used to see there coming over to here. I don't know if
Probably for the reason it's getting like it's so busy.
it's just super busy, bro, and it's like if you go and like, because we go like at 7, that's like prime time for like
Gym. Everyone's
busyness.
getting
Yeah.
off work and everything like that. I go later. So when I would go, it was like 8, 9,
What's up
10
with the close
o'clock.
training zone? Is it 24?
It's 24 hours,
Man,
which is really
that's the only
nice.
thing. And see, I'm actually gonna bash the in shape for this
Team.
one. It's only it's only open until 11 on weekdays. The other day, it's so funny because the other day, it was the weekend and we go Monday through Wednesday. Me telling you guys my fucking fitness plan and shit.
You're telling them literally, if you want to see you here, go at these times.
No, just kidding. But we go Monday to Wednesday. I already told you guys the time, so. And then we skip Thursday, so it's Thursday's our rest day. And then we go back Friday and Saturday. And we usually go on Saturdays in the morning, depending on if one of us are busy, you know. But we usually go Saturday mornings, but this day we went Saturday evening. We got there like at 8, you know, we were making our way over. Lights were all on and everything, right? Like it was like, you know, we just didn't see anyone from the door to like the machines
Yeah.
and stuff. But I'm like, I mean, they're just like around and stuff.
I need to go in the mornings. I'm just like thinking to myself, I
Can
just
I
need
finish
to go.
my story first, at least?
Oh my god.
So we open the door and it's locked.
That's embarrassing.
And they close at 8.
That's embarrassing.
Dude, but like that's what I'm saying though. Like if you're gonna make such a nice gym like that, make it 24/7, dog.
Maybe isn't there a pool there?
There's 2. So
Maybe
there's
can they lock off that portion?
but there's like it's all fenced. So there's like it's the actual building and there's one pool inside. And the other pool is outside.
Do you
but
ever
it's all
use it?
fenced off. I haven't I've used it before. So I've been to that gym before a long time ago. but then I stopped going. See, I've been really on and off with my gym, so now I'm kind of
Inconsistency
going.
is not it though. I like even for me, I need to
Yeah,
like
but
this. Half of this is me talking to myself. I'm like, yeah, I need to be a
I think
better
it's because I
person.
make you realize that you're a lazy
Anyways,
person.
it's not that I honestly love the gym. I love the feeling after. Like it's great.
It's good dopamine.
I'm pretty upset. You get dopamine. I'm really upset. I can't find my other earbud, and I'm just going to the gym and not having both noise
Dude,
canceling earbuds in there.
you listen to music at the gym?
I'll listen to like music or podcasts, but podcasts I
I
like.
can't listen to podcast. Like
I
if I listen to
can't do
music,
it.
I don't listen to music at the gym. Spoiler alert.
You don't?
I
It just
don't. I just like
exists.
no because I'm talking with my
I
friends.
can't talk and work out when because if I like I
Oh,
need to
dude.
work out just to get it get it like over with.
Dude, like we're like constantly talking, like we're just like having a good time, and I think a lot of people are just like,
Oh, it's literally just me and Jose. Jose's my boyfriend, but it's me and Jose. So it's like, what are we gonna talk about? I see you
right.
every day.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but dude,
I get
it's
angry at the gym too.
why does that like motivate you? And
No,
like,
I just get angry because I'm like, me and Jose are the type of people where it's like, you don't talk to me when I'm mid set on something and then we both have our headphones in because he listens to like screamo music and I never would expect that. So
oh,
we gets all umped up and then we take pre-workout and everything and he's all like going. And if I stop him because I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go like I gotta go pee real quick, he will be like, he's like, you just interrupted me mid set, and I know how like how
the
irritating
gym
that could be
bros.
because I hate when people do that to me, but I still do it.
Yeah, no, it's funny because we used to, so before we started going to the gym, like we would talk like or text like every single day like about everything, right? We're like, I mean, obviously my friends are big sports fans too, so we're like talking about that. But now we don't really text on the days that we go to the gym,
You
but
just
we
get
let it
there.
all out when we're there, you know, because it's so cool.
I
But
wish all my friends went to the gym.
don't they actually go to the gym? They just don't go with you.
They'll go inconsistently. So by my friends, I mean like Jose's cousins and everything like that.
They're just your friends now.
They're all my friends. But I wish we all went to the gym together because I feel like we'd all be more like I don't know. It's a good habit to develop, especially with people you care about. You know, you want to encourage good lifestyles. And even for me, like if I know someone, like even real estate, like at the office, if I know another person's gonna be there, I'm gonna go there because I feel like it's like the same concept as working at home, like working out at home. I feel more motivated when there's others around me doing it,
Yeah.
even if I don't talk to them. And that's like one of my biggest downfalls when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah. Did you tour gyms when you were choosing yours?
I knew immediately where I was going to go.
Really?
I love Training Zone. I love the staff there. They were so welcoming and like super comfortable. My dad has been going there for years. But I just loved it. And I like that there was a women's section.
That's a cool part too about it, right? That
Yeah.
they have that women's section.
Because it's cool because when everything's taken up, I know I can go to the women's section and it's going to be free. And
Yeah.
it's like the same exact thing, like but upstairs. There's obviously a little less because it's like such like a smaller room.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of women feel more comfortable working out with other women.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I didn't know about
But
it.
Jose's a
until-
boy, so I can't take him with me. So
No,
that's the only
I
downside.
think I think that makes sense. But I didn't know they had that until like I was, I was walking
you
past.
went-
No, I was walking past because they're right next to the stairs, right?
Yeah.
They're right next to the stairs, and I was going with my buddy, and I'm like, why don't we just work out here, right? Because they have like separate rooms and like trainers,
Yeah.
right? Like secret rooms and stuff. And so I was like, why don't we just work out in here? And he's like, bro, don't you read the sign there? It says women.
Women only.
So I didn't peek or anything, so don't come for me.
Oh my god.
But
No,
but
that's funny. I forget there's so many like there is definitely different rooms. There's
Yeah,
like a
there is.
jujitsu room.
is there?
Yeah.
What's the room that's like once you walk in, it's like directly like in front of you? But is that like Zumba or something? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like you walk in.
Is it
and there's-
upstairs?
Yeah, it's upstairs. It's like right above
That's
the
for like
running
classes.
machines.
I'll go up there to like occasionally because when there's no classes going on, I'll do like stretches up there and everything and be by myself for a little bit, which is
Okay.
nice. But yeah, normally they do like Zumba classes. I did a yoga class there one time,
That's what it was.
and that was actually really nice. Like I didn't think I would be like enjoy doing that at all. I was doing it for like you pay the $12 a month or every 2 weeks or whatever.
Hmm.
So you had to do things like that. But I actually like it. I think it's a smart like marketing technique because it's forcing people to try new things that they're uncomfortable with for a
Right.
discount. And then on top of it, guess what? They're gonna like it, so they're gonna continuously go. And for them, I think they're free.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Is it like a separate charge or
No,
something?
it's literally free, which I'm like, this is killer. Like my joints felt amazing after, and after that, I was like stretching in the morning. Like she was mentioning women are really known to have arthritis in their hands as they get older. So she was showing me like stretches for your hands, and I that's the last thing I expect to like stretch.
Yeah,
Is your
definitely.
hands, but it's like we use them every
It's usually
day.
your bigger muscles. Like for me, like I think that's a bad habit because I don't. I mean, I stretch every time before a workout, but it's so minimal. It's so like
See, I've heard pros and cons about stretching before a workout.
yeah. So it's like I've heard that it's best to stretch after a
Mm-hmm.
workout, but I guess it's just like in PE.
Mm-hmm.
You always
I
like
didn't
get on
have
your
PE.
dot. What do you mean you have
I didn't
PE?
have PE.
Throughout high
I
school.
did dance.
Thank
I never had
God.
to do PE.
Charter kid over here.
I know. I don't.
But for those of you who could relate to me, we stood on our dots, right?
Mm,
And before like we ran normal or whatever, did our activity,
imagine.
we see that's why we were all fit. Oh, I'm not now, but bones. But see, I'm like mid sentence, and then you're like, oh, you're like goofing around.
Okay, continue. You can still talk.
Um, we would stand on our dots and we would just stretch and then we did our activity. So I guess you relate that towards like now if you're going to the gym, you don't stretch after, you stretch before and then you do your work,
Hmm.
you know. But even then, like the hands thing is weird. Like you only stretch really like well me like the big muscles like your chest, and stuff
Right.
like that when you're gonna do
But I
chest day
think
or
that's
whatever.
why, because everyone forgets about it. Like when you get
Yeah.
old, your joint, like there's so many joints in your hand.
Oh,
There's
it's
so
crazy.
many joints, and then like as you age, because I already have like slight arthritis. Like in when it gets cold, my knee gives out and my ankle gives out, and it hurts so bad.
What is arthritis?
To go more in depth, I was gonna ask me about this a little more because I was wondering like why when it's cold I only feel pain.
So you feel pain when it's
When
cold?
it's
Is it
cold
like
outside,
stinging or how does
it
it
feels
feel?
like my bones are rubbing against each other. Like I can literally
Only on your
feel
joints though?
only on
So
my
like your
joints.
wrists, your knees, your elbows.
So
No.
sometimes, rarely my wrist, but it's mostly my right knee and my right ankle. I feel like it's just consistently rubbing, and I need to learn more about it because I've been told to do like there might be stretches that would help with that and avoid arthritis. But during the wintertime, it's kind of inevitable. But to make it better as I get older, because that's already really bad, and I'm only like 22, so I'm worried about that as I age, and it runs in genetics. So I have family that
Oh.
have it, and I just got it pretty early.
Maybe you have like a little bit of cartilage in your knee
I'm
because
not too sure.
I know that this is again shout out to the Joe Rogan Experience, but I know that when David Goggins goes on there and he talks about his knees and stuff, he mentioned that his knees literally like the bones like rub on bone,
Yeah, well,
and it's because he has no cartilage in his knee. So that's probably why you have a low amount of cartilage in
I don't
your
know.
knee.
I don't know. I definitely want to look into it. I'm really bad at going to the doctors for things, which is
Dude,
terrible.
tell me about that. Dude,
The
my
American
dad,
healthcare systems.
my dad just he was just getting sick, and he was sick for like this past like what was it, week or half week or whatever. And he's like, I guess I don't know what it is, but it's like he hates going to the doctor. Like I don't know why. Maybe it's because he doesn't have healthcare and he just doesn't want to pay or whatever it is. He's
Valid.
probably just
It's
I
an
don't know.
arm and a
I don't know
leg,
what it is,
dog.
but it's probably too that it's like kind of it is. I mean, to some people I know it's really intimidating. But anyways, the case is that he didn't.
No, sorry. No one wants to find problems that they'll have to pay for. Like it's like
True.
the more you go to the doctor, your bill's gonna add up. You're like, oh, by the way, you have like severe like skin cancer or something. Like you never know, and that's scary. So I think like just living in the unknown makes people a little safer. They're like, oh, I'm functioning, so
I
it's
guess
like,
so. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. But what I'm trying to get at though is that like he was just scared to go to the doctors, and I'm like, and then my mom finally forced him to go, and so
mhm.
he went. I don't know what I was getting at though. What were we talking about before this? I just remember that I'm talking about my dad going to the doctor, but why was I talking about this?
We were talking about Like the money involved as far as going to the doctors
No,
and how
but
we suck at
before
going to the
that.
doctors.
But why did I get into this? What we were talking about? Cartilage, knees.
I don't know. I don't know what you want me to do in this
Dude, I
situation.
was like gonna take this somewhere,
And you lost
and
it. You threw it
I
away,
just lost
crumbled
it.
it.
It just happens all the time.
Well, anyways, I need to go to the doctor more. It's terrible. I
It's so
really
ass.
need to get in the
I have to
habit.
get like 20 something shot, not 20 something. I think I have most of them, but I have to get hella
Yeah,
shots
here needs
for.
his shots, everybody. Every time I think of like a dog, like I need to take my dog to get his shots.
Dude, are you comparing me to a dog?
That's what when you said that, I'm just like, okay, so does my dog.
Poor dog. But dude, Chico's like asking me. Chico State
Oh
is asking
yeah.
me for like this whole list. It's like I was showing my mom the other day. She's
Oh
like,
yeah, you
God
do have
damn.
to prove certain shots.
How
It's
would you know?
crazy. 'Cause
If you guys don't know, she dropped out of college.
yeah, I went to college for a little over a little over 2 years, and then I'm like,
Did you finish your sophomore year?
I
Yeah.
don't, I honestly don't remember. It's been so long, but I was doing it, and then I was
How
just
many
like,
semesters did you do?
get
A
to,
year's 2 semesters. So,
I think I went like 2.5. Now
so
that
you
I
only
think
did
about it,
one.
it
So
was about
two,
2.5.
two
So
what? 2 semesters and a half.
yeah,
So it was a year and a half.
yeah. So that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't stand college. I loved it because everyone was kind of shocked because I'm very like everyone says I'm more like I'm book smart.
Oh.
All my whole family says that, so they were really expecting me to move forward with it. But then I was just like something felt wrong for me to be there. Like I think college can be a really smart idea as far as like I don't want to go too long. I'll probably keep this at an hour, by the way. So about 60 minutes. But college, I feel like it wasn't working for me. And I don't know if this is like a kind of ignorant mindset, but I just didn't want to do all the things that had nothing to do with what I wanted to be. And like all the general education and everything. But I think a lot of that's also just life experience. Like it's good.
Yeah. Did you have a? I don't think I've ever asked you this. Did you have a major that you were gonna do?
So what's crazy is I came off straight out of high school, went to college. I was like, I wanted to be like a dental hygienist, but then of course I switched fast from that. And I think I went that route because my sister was in the dental industry. So she was
Oh,
like
following the
rooting for
footsteps.
me. Yeah, we're a lot of first generation, like I mentioned, breaking a lot of generational curses. So I'm like, of course I'm going to follow my older sister. But then like, it didn't fit me. I just couldn't do it. I felt like it was holding me back in so many ways, and then I went to business marketing, like which I think
Oh right.
I would love to continue that. Like looking back as a growth person, like growing as a person and mindset, I wouldn't mind doing that, like growing. But I just am curious how they updated the what's it called? What's the I guess I'll say the context of what they're teaching. Like, are these professors that have been in the business for so long are teaching old ways of business marketing?
Yeah, like fucking billboard signs and shit.
Like, I don't know, just like the mindset things. And I'm sure they get re-educated on the curriculum and everything.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, you won't know until you ask kind of thing. Like, I have no right. But I'm curious. I wouldn't mind going back for just the educational purposes of it for me to grow and learn. But as for like maybe getting a degree in it, I don't think for my business it's going to do me much because real estate, you don't need a degree
Yeah.
for pretty much anything. But I think for the learning aspect, I would definitely go back.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Would you get your AA though, or would you go the whole 4 years and get your bachelor's? You would
I,
probably just get your AA.
I'd
anyway.
probably get my AA just to have it. It doesn't hurt. And again, I would be more going for the education part of it instead of like the end goal of getting something.
Yeah, I know a lot of people just go with the flow though. They're just like college, like
Even like
whatever.
what was it? What was it? Like accounting? I think that's a really good part of the
Oh
business
my
too.
God, I hate accounting.
It's rough. Like even when I did statistics, like that plays a really big part in this business now. And for whatever reason, I struggled with it. But now that I'm in person, like I understand. Like now that I'm living it, I understand it, and I think that's a really big
Yeah.
con.
Dude, I know some people that took or majored in accounting, and for my major, I took two accounting classes. Most boring class I've ever took, bro. I mean, I don't care. I think even if you're like a great professor or whatever, I mean, I'm sure that great
You
professor
can't
will
make it fun. Is that
But
what you're
it's like
saying?
yeah, it's like just so dead. It's just like numbers and like plug them into a system. This is what you get, or
Right.
like the account sheets of like your balance sheet or your see already your income statement and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just like that's so boring, you know.
Yeah.
I
You know
don't.
what's funny is I wish like in high school there's an economy class. Shout out to
There is an economics class, a
economics.
macro and a micro. I was just having this. Sorry to cut you off,
No,
man,
you're
but
okay.
um, I was just talking. We were just talking to my dad the other day. I was just talking to my dad the other day about this, and he's like, "Yeah, it kind of sucks that in school, in your guys' in school, you guys don't have like a money class or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like something that like a lot of people say, and it's kind of just beat into. I mean, a lot of people now, but it's like it's kind of true. It's like it's funny how um, schools like they don't teach you about money or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you go into college, they want you to get student loans.
Yeah, that's a
It's
big thing
it's
right
like
there. That's a whole podcast topic. It's
yeah, and
like
so it's like how
they
does that make
they keep you
sense?
uneducated till they need you, and they hope you go in it to it maybe money blind, like you don't know what you're throwing
Yeah,
money at.
because a lot of people like could get
Mm.
confused with like a loan and a grant. Like a grant is where
Mm.
you don't have to pay it back, and a
Right.
loan is where you collect interest, where interest is collected, and you're basically paying it. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people might go into a loan, a student loan, not even know what an interest rate is or an
That's
interest is or
insane.
what they're paying. You
I know a
know,
lot of the people, like, not to bash anyone, but a lot of people, like our age, I thought would know this, but a lot of people don't know how to use a credit card.
dude, I know some
And
people that don't even
don't
have
even
credit cards.
have
Yeah.
credit, and you're 20 something years old, and I'm just like, it hurts my heart because I know it's not a them thing. It's more of like they don't know where to start.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think like in high school, like even having a home ed class, like so many people like a little younger, your generation a little younger, they don't know how to do a lot of basic like house stuff. And I was just like, wow,
Dude,
it's crazy. Like,
yeah, I was just listening to something saying that like we don't even know how to. I mean, I don't. I sometimes have to look up how to write a check, you know.
hmm
So I'm like,
like that's crazy.
yeah. I mean, it's the thing where like electronics is just kind of like it's so
hmm
easy to like Apple Pay someone or send money through Zelle or whatever,
Yeah.
you know. That it kind of takes the whole meaning behind writing a cashier's check or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I have to Google it, bro. I know that we learned this in elementary school.
hmm
They literally taught us like, hey, we had like an assignment. I don't know why I vividly remember this, but
hmm
they're like, this is how you fill out a check. You put the number, the amount, you put the memo, why you did it, you
hmm
know, and then you put the amount in words and
But
you
why don't
sign
they
it.
teach us to older people that are gonna be like, even like when I had a career, because they'll for my school they did like a career and then they did like a health class, and there was like half a semester for each.
Oh,
Those are like the most important things that I feel like would have helped me now, but
yeah.
they cut it into half
Yeah,
semesters.
it's funny because economics for me was half a semester, right? And then the other semester was American government. American government is important too because
I think
you
I loved that class. I loved my
I
history
don't
classes.
I loved world history.
Mm.
Like the world wars, like other things like that.
Yeah, just
Dude,
being
I am
educated
so
about it.
fascinated by that. I'm so fascinated by like other cultures, by like conquerors, like Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Napoleon, all that stuff I fucking
History repeats
love.
itself in its own ways. So I think it's important to be educated on how it worked. Like we said before, like if so many people did it a certain way, are you gonna learn from it or are you gonna like move forward with it?
Hmm.
But history repeats itself. Maybe not in like complete world wars, but in the same kind of like I guess aspect of it.
Yeah.
But like COVID, like it threw everyone off. So to see something like so big hit us like that, I'm curious like what techniques they did like in the past like pandemics, like like maybe hundreds of years ago at this point, right?
Yeah.
How that's similar, because
That is a good point. I
there
haven't
was
seen
like
anything about that. Yeah.
smallpox, like
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
was a big thing,
It wiped
right?
out so many people, you
I
know?
wonder if people
The
reacted
Black
the same
Plague,
way.
you know? Yeah. I mean, the Black Plague, I think, wiped out like what
Oh
was it
yeah, that
like
was intense.
how much percent of the population
Yeah,
back then? And so it's like, how did that, I mean, I'm sure that like that
that's
kind of
scary.
fueled like the future renaissances and then the development and then you kind of get to Rome and all that stuff. But
hmm
anyways, like, yeah, I mean, I guess you have to go through the bad times to get to the good times.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that those were the bad times, quote unquote, and now we're getting to the good times. But I
Yeah.
fear that that's the case.
That's so insane. Like,
Yeah.
geez, I could talk about this like all day.
Dude, I love like conspiracy theories, like talking about history. Like I could talk about that all day.
There's just so much to learn from and so much to go back. Like, what was the process of this? You know, like
Yeah.
so many variables play a tribute to like the way people think back then. And it's just like, even like 10 years ago, how people were thinking compared to now. It's so intense how much we like the whole like economy, the whole social platter or whatever, their mindset changes so fast
Yeah,
too.
I think it's just crazy how like every little detail kind of affects what we're doing. Like right now, like literally, we're doing this podcast because someone was doing a podcast because he learned it from someone because they invented some talking
Yeah.
show or something like that because that came from someone else, you know.
Yep.
And it's just like all that led to like me and you sitting like here today. Like
That's
that's
crazy.
fucking wild.
It's insane.
Like, and it's like you could do that with like everything. Like, dude, like I don't know, like if you're an accountant, for example, like you had to get that inspiration from someone who got it from someone else who actually had knew someone that was like a
And
fucking, I
that's
don't
the
know.
thing. So, bringing this back to like I guess real estate, everyone feels bad for copying people, I guess.
Yeah, you kind of try to find like
You're trying to be original. Like a lot of your posts, a lot of the education you learn, you probably learned it from someone on Facebook who learned it from something, you know. And a lot of people feel bad. They're like, "Well, I don't want to do something if someone else did it." And I'm like, "Well, that worked for them." You know, acknowledge that they did it and then do it. You know, do it
right.
your way. Serve it up your way. You like that? That was a little.
That was kind of cringe. But yeah, it's just going back to that point of
Learning from history and just
learning from history and make it your own, put it out for the world.
no.
It's that simple.
Well,
It's dry, cut, and simple, but man, it does it suck to do.
cut it out.
No, that's like the total opposite. It's
Is
dry,
it?
cut, and simple. So it's saying like I'm saying that it's like it's simple, and you're saying like cut it out, like get it out of here. That's like two totally different
I'm
things.
sorry, audio listeners, if you're very confused on what I'm talking about. Watch the video. But anyways, with that, Yahir, that was a great conversation. I'll probably have you here a couple more times on the podcast just because I think we can talk about a lot of good, useful topics, and the world changes fast. So I plan on having a couple of the same people repeat on the podcast just because I enjoy having these conversations. But if there's anyone you want to see on the Move with Mikell podcast, let me know. I love having these conversations. And yeah, let's go from there. All right, that was podcast 1.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
Let's go.